The war on terror did little to end global violence, and it has cost a staggering $4.4 trillion. But who exactly is profiting from this war? These are some of the key beneficiaries of Washington's wars since 2001. Weapons are big business. In attempting to protect itself from real or perceived threats, the US spent $640 billion on weapons in 2013 alone. It's also the #1 exporter of weapons to the world. Weapons manufacturers like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon are some of the biggest profiteers in the ongoing so-called war on terror. And although military spending is slowing down in the West, it's rising elsewhere. To make up for the slowing sales in the US and Europe, defense contractors are looking overseas. Today, US weapons manufacturers account for 42% of weapon sales to the Middle East. One way for those weapons manufacturers to ensure their lucrative government contracts continue: hire lobbyists. Lots of them. In 2013, 232 defense contractors, including Lockheed Martin and crew, spent $134 million on lobbyists to push Congress to continue these wars. You see, if the war continues, so do their contracts with the governments, worth billions. Hence the cyclical nature of this whole military-industrial complex. The US government wants to know whether you're a terrorist, have ties to terrorism, or maybe just have the potential to become one someday. They do this by paying intelligence contractors billions of dollars to mine your data. Almost 2,000 private companies like IBM, Palantir, and Booz Allen, where Edward Snowden work on programs for 17 government agencies, including the CIA, Homeland Security, and the FBI. Of the estimated $500 billion spent on the US intelligence budget since 2001, 70% of it has gone to private contractors. Other profiteers of the so-called war on terror were politicians who were close allies of the United States in countries where Al-Qaeda was known to or even suspected to have been operating. Take, for example, the former president of Yemen, a man on the good side of the so-called war on terror. Former President Ali Abdullah Saleh has been accused of using weapons from the US to attack his opponents. The US funded, trained, and equipped Yemen's generals, many of whom ended up pursuing corrupt ends. Weapons and money were often used to shore up Saleh's personal power, not to defeat Al-Qaeda. So, if the weapons manufacturers, lobbyists, intelligence contractors, and even US allies are all profiting from the so-called war on terror, do you think it will ever end? Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook.